run is all about, finding stuff.
Gotta work out all the bugs. There you go.
This year, to commemorate the 5th running, we wanted to bring those past champions back up and give them something to put.
2009, Jason Scherer.
Hard road to get here. Usually the car sits in the trailer prepped and ready to go. This time we took it out pre-running and couldn't stop braking it. So it's crazy. The course is really hard, but we got tons of help. We had help from the guys at Trailmaster putting it back together. And then PSC came through. I think I wore out their mechanics over there, man. They were like, come on, are you really back? And I just kept having little issues, and they were awesome. They took care of everything. So yeah, I think we're in good shape for the race, but it was not for lack of trying if we're not. We've definitely put in a lot of hours on this thing.
Race. This is remote pit. Repeat your quart low on oil.
That's correct. We spilled it when we rolled over. We need you guys to fill it up to the engine oil in the skirt. Fill it to the bottom of the skirt. Copy?
We copy.
We went up back door, winch strap broke a few times. I thought I was gonna run up and get through resolution, but it turned into a freeway up there, and I couldn't catch the car to get back in, and I just told him to go get Shannon, go get him, bro. And that's that. Gave it my best, but just goes to show that Jason doesn't need a co-driver. He can go out there and he'll be back.
Okay, and here's our third car across the line, Jason Scherer.
I'm good. That was easy. That was fun. Just had a couple of little issues out there. Some of them are my own fault, and that's the ones that are tough. But yeah, and then we had some mechanical stuff. But overall, it was a really fun race. You know, I had a lot of help out there. I had all my sponsors at the pits and everybody out there, and you know, it was really fun. They all came through for us. It was like smooth pit stops. Everything just worked out great. You know, we had a good time. I probably had the most fun I've ever had racing Shannon out there. You know, Shannon's in a single seater, I'm in a single seater, it's on. I couldn't even figure out where to go half the time, it was funny.
Minor maintenance, right? Yeah, just a little bit. I can see it just.
We had fun out there all day.
Pretty exciting. Buddy's back.
Celebrating, picture taking, interviews and whatnot.
Getting up back door was arduous. I think I can just climb it too, and I should have gone for it. Instead, we're like, you know what, we're in the physical lead. And when we had passed Shannon, he didn't know this until later, but he had 2 flat front tires. So I thought he was stuck in low range, or he had lost a gear and he only had first. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let's be smart. We got a huge lead right now. So we winched back door as a part of our strategy, moving strategy, to say, okay, let's keep this thing easy and together. It took us 10 minutes. Shannon caught us. It was just flat tires. We raced all the way through outer limits, and then when I got to the pits, I noticed that the rear end was toast, and that was sort of the end of the push, and from there it was just finished. So we did a good job just keeping it together at the end. We couldn't have had a lot more adversity. It was kind of crazy. That's kind of how these are. So I got out of the car 11 times. That's a lot to restrap in and get going again. I got my belts down. I can get back in the middle of the trail, but it's tough, dude. I think the first time I lost the power steering belt, I wasn't sure what it was until I got out and I noticed there was no belt. And then I'm like, okay, that's weird. That was my fault. I clipped a rock that I shouldn't have hit at that speed, and it must have just smashed the pump and it snapped the belt. So my fault for sure. There's a couple of, there's 2 out of the 3 things that went wrong today were my fault, so I don't feel really good about it. But after 9 years of this stuff, you learn to let it go. I remember I'd drive home from Farmington or something and think about this one cone we hit that cost us the lead, and it's like, you can't beat yourself up. After a while, you gotta just say, oh well, it is what it is. It's racing, and get better for next time. But I don't know, it's a little bit of a bummer to make so many mistakes and stuff like that, but you can't do anything about it. You just gotta move on and learn from them. And I learned a lot this time, and it was really nice because the last couple times that we've done these style races, I have trouble thinking through the strategy as we're moving. And this time I was able to actually drive as hard as I could drive and still kind of think about what was going on. Like, okay, aftershocks backed up, so people that started a lot further back than Shannon are gonna have a lot of trouble. So it's really coming down to Shannon and me right now. So Shannon's ahead of me on adjusted time if I'm next to him. So I have to race Shannon as hard as I can race him to try to make him push himself to where he breaks. And if I break, I probably wasn't gonna beat him anyway, so I just need to go along with that strategy. A lot of times I've questioned it later, man, if I had just done this, and this time I was clear-headed about, here is the right thing to do in the racing situation. This is the right move, and it felt good to be able to think it all the way through while you're still flying through the desert or through the whoops or whatever, and Sand's the co-driver anymore, and it was just like, cool, I get it, and I never gave up. That was the fun part. I never took, I've had so much crap happen out here and still been good. Dude, we rolled over on flat ground and I just made a mistake, went the wrong way and tried to change directions too fast and flipped over, and was able to winch it back over off of a rock. It was only sticking out of the ground this much, and cut back in. The next checkpoint I get to, it says 3rd. I'm like, I'm 3rd to this checkpoint, and I've already flipped myself back over. I'm like, it's so good to not quit, because you learn, all this stuff happens. And then, I got out of the car and fixed the belts, fixed this, fixed that, over and over, and and we still came in 3rd. I'm like, this isn't that bad, you got to be able to stay after it. Never, ever even consider slowing down. You jump out of the car to find what's wrong and you haul ass. You don't slow down, you go for it, and that's cool.
Well, it has been a long week. We got here last Friday, and we had steering issues and car issues and hose issues, and then we finally got to go pre-running, and we had times where the GPS wasn't working, and it was definitely a long week of testing and getting ready for KOH. So then the race happened. We got into the lead after the first lap. I kind of had some issues at backdoor winching. The winch rope kept breaking. Finally we got the thing up. we got passed for the lead by Shannon Campbell, and then I couldn't get back in the car. Jason ended up doing the rest of the race by himself, and we finished third, and we made podium at KOH, so that was pretty cool.
Really got to thank Trailmaster, BF Goodrich. They came through this year to make this all possible, and you know, without them I wouldn't be here. Daystar, they stepped up this year as well, so we have their help. Also like to thank my company, Pelican Group, for letting me get out here and spend all the time I do testing and working on everything. Thank Pirate for always supporting the sport the way they do and being out here giving us the great coverage. Especially Griffin for making the race possible. So, you know, I've got a lot of great sponsors that are on this car. I really especially want to thank PSC because I think they feared me every time I drove up to their trailer. I broke like all this stuff on the steering out testing, and I'd come back and I'd see their eyes when I pulled into the trailer, and never once did they not run out and help. And, the steering was great. I mean, I blew a belt, but that's not their fault. I actually blew 2 belts. And you know, I ended up with like half a belt, 3 wide, back on there, and made it to the pit. It was just smoke pouring in the car from this belt steaming all the way. But those guys were great, so thanks to Tom and the whole crew, Tom and Lance and everybody at PSC. So